listening to Speaking with One Voice with Rodney Payne. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, topics you'd like discussed on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. That's rpayne@onevoiceinc.org. You can also search for us on Acast, Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. Just look for Speaking with One Voice. Now, here's your host, Rodney Payne.
Hello and welcome to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Listen, I am so excited to be back with you again this week on Speaking with One Voice, your leadership podcast where you and or your leadership team can dive in each and every week and get great content to help you to grow on your leadership journey. I want to encourage you. I want to invite you to join us on all of our social media platforms at Rodney R. Payne, specifically, we'd like for you to catch this podcast in its video version on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at Rodney R. Payne. When you stop by there, please take a moment, go ahead and hit the bell, subscribe so that you can get the content and be notified each and every week when it drops. We want to continue to build our footprint in that space, and you know that we need your help to do that. So we thank you for liking us and watching our videos on TikTok and catching our podcast each week on all of your podcast platforms. We thank you for being a part of the One Voice family, where we are committed to adding value to you and your team each and every week. And we do this to make sure that you have access to great content at no cost to you. As always, if you'd like to take our relationship deeper, simply DM us or go to our website, rodneyrpayne.com, where you can pick up your free gift on how to move the needle in your organization. And we can look further at how we might be able to help you individually as a leader or in your business. We do things with corporate strategy, strategic planning, etc. So we'd love to be partners with you in your growth and your building of your brand. So today, I want to talk about a topic that's very, very impactful to business and can be a very negative drain on your business and your business cycle. So let's talk about break the chains. Break the chains. What are we doing? We're mastering the art of action-driven productivity. In a word, we're going to talk about procrastination. I want to give you 5 key steps to this process of dealing with procrastination and removing it out of your life. Am I talking to you? Are you the one? Do you have a list that you're going to get to and, oh, I'll just get to it next time, or, oh, I'll just start next week, or I'll start next month, or we're going to do that next quarter or somewhere in the future, but you never seem to get full productivity out of yourself? Then I need you to stop right now. Tune in. Let's get your notes out and let's dive into this thing so that we can break these chains. I want you to master the art of action-driven productivity. Action-driven productivity. The first thing is if you're going to defeat, overcome, or deal with procrastination, we need to understand procrastination. What is procrastination? Obviously, in a defining sense, it's delaying or postponing something. But can we dig deeper and get to the why behind the delay? You see, there's always a delay, and there is procrastination, and we've heard it many times. Why put off for tomorrow what you can do today? And we all know the benefits of taking action, but for some reason, there's always something that seems to get in the way of our taking action. So when we talk about this, what causes that delay? What causes you to postpone? Why do we continually put ourselves in a bind? Let me tell you a quick personal story. My wife tells me I like pressure because I am a recovering procrastinator. She tells me that you like to put it off until the last minute because you like the pressure of having to get it done. Well, that sounds like a nice way to turn it around. I like the pressure. No, I don't. It frustrates me. I never feel like I get the best product I can get when I procrastinate, but too many times I have put myself in that position simply because I was unwilling to take action and get it done. So what are some of the common procrastination triggers? What happens to cause this? Well, sometimes it's fear, right? Sometimes you're afraid of the next step. You're afraid of what happens. You're afraid of failing. So if I don't start, then I can't fail. Well, not starting is failing. So you got to overcome that trigger of fear, or a fear of failure. While others are just the opposite, they don't start because it's not absolutely perfect. Where are my perfectionists? Come on, raise your hands. You know who you are. You have to make sure that everything is exactly right before you can do anything. Listen, done is better than perfect, okay? And don't let perfection, which is the enemy of excellence, stop you from moving. What am I saying? You can do the very best you can do and it still not be perfect, but it can be excellently done. So you're going to have to make sure that you overcome this perfectionism problem. And then the other one is just plain and simple. What we deal with on a regular basis is lack of motivation. See, when I fail to attend to my mental, my mind, my self-care, as we've been talking about recently, when I fail to do those things, I'm not motivated. I have no energy. I'm not able to get up and get ready for the next move and to keep this thing going and doing what I'm supposed to do. So my motivation has to be up to me. I've got to decide to build systems. You're going to hear me talk about systems always, because systems are critical to our ongoing success. So let me give you this statistic. I wanted to put some things in here because uh, oftentimes we just hear it and we kind of let go in one ear and out the other. But according to a study that was published in the Journal of Psychology, approximately 20% of adults regularly procrastinate. 20% regularly. Not that doesn't mean that's all, but that's on a regular basis. What that does is that impacts their academic and their professional performance. Furthermore, research from the University of Vermont found that chronic procrastinators are 10% more likely to experience mental health issues like anxiety and depression. So now it's not just not getting the job done, it's actually going to reduce your productivity and increase your chances of experiencing anxiety and depression. This is all wrapped up in procrastination. So, my friends, we've got to get this thing together and really take this seriously and address it, not as just something that put me behind or maybe I didn't make my deadline, but this can be very negative and have negative outcomes and negative impact on what we're doing. So I want you to understand that procrastination is critical. We have to overcome this or we will find ourselves in difficult situations. So number one is we got to understand procrastination. Well, number two is now let's talk about the cost. We really need to look at what our losses are as a result of procrastination, because just putting it off doesn't guarantee you'll get another chance to get it right. So there are some costs. So let's talk about how many opportunities do we miss because we weren't prepared. See, you can lose opportunities simply because you're not ready. Well, if you were going to have all of your business documentation in a row, have your insurances in place, and do certain things in your business, and you'll get to it eventually, and then an opportunity hits, it shows up, and now you miss the opportunity because you're not ready. And you look at others, you say, "Oh, they're lucky." I like a quote. I don't believe Lou Holtz is the originator of the quote, but I do believe that he said it. I know he said it. He was former head football coach of Notre Dame and South Carolina, and he's known as the old ball coach, Lou Holtz. He said, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. If you're going to procrastinate, you cannot be prepared. So you have to be ready. So think about those who are successful. Lou Holtz was very successful because he knew there was no time for procrastination. He replaced procrastination with preparation. In other words, he built internal systems that would allow him to overcome procrastination. We've got to understand that procrastination can be deadly. It can be detrimental to your business. It can be counterproductive to what you're trying to do. And so but it takes a system, because we've talked about self-care, we've talked about balance. But listen, when you are working, I want you to get to a position where you are giving everything you have while you're working, but then take self-care and give everything to yourself while you're caring for self. I'm going to keep harping on that because I want you, there's a cost to procrastination, but we also got to make sure that we get ourselves in the right position to find success. So when we think about cost, um, I did some more research. I did a lot of research behind this because I really want us to overcome it, but I also want us to understand what it does to us. So, in the psychological bulletin, it reports that procrastination can lead to a reduction in the quality of life. So, it's not just about not getting it done. With 40% of procrastinators experiencing lower satisfaction in their personal and professional lives. Did you hear that? 40% of people who procrastinate have lower levels of satisfaction in their personal and professional lives. So we have to take this thing as a real issue and a real challenge, and we have to address it and understand that procrastination comes at a very, very high price. So we have to understand that procrastination is just not limited to my productivity, but it also goes into my well-being. Listen, you're listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Today, we are on this topic of making sure that we're going to maximize our productivity, and we're really dealing with this thing called procrastination that kind of keeps us back. So we've talked about a couple of steps. I want to give you 5. Let's get to number 3. Number 3, I want to give you some tools for accountability. We often reference this, but if you're not building a support system to help you to be successful, then you're going to find yourself in trouble. I just had a meeting with my assistant. I keep a very, very high active schedule. I'm always doing something. And so I have empowered my assistant to say yes for me, to say no for me, and to hold me accountable. That's right. She can tell me, listen, coach, you're not there. You owe me this. You're putting it off. I got to get it done today. These systems help me to meet my deadlines. And if I follow my assistant's strength zone, they're going to be done well before they are due. So that's going to, again, reduce stress, reduce pressure, and also give me a chance to produce a better product. So some practical things that you can do for establishing an accountability network is that you have to have partners, or you have to have a coach, or maybe even a part of a group, but you got to put something outside of you that gets to tell you no. Because I know when I'm tired and I need rest, I'm going to take that rest. Sometimes that rest is because I just don't feel like doing anything, i.e., lack of motivation. So we have to get to a point to where we're willing to take action. So you provide some guidelines that we set up regular check-ins so we can have commitment, we can have support, we can have community. Because it's important for us to understand that you have to have accountability. If you want to get over procrastination, tell somebody else what you're supposed to be doing. If you keep it to yourself, nobody knows you're procrastinating. Everybody thinks you're doing great. So you have to put some systems in place, right? Studies show that individuals who are a part of accountability groups or individual coaching programs that hold them accountable are 65% more likely to achieve their goals than those who work in isolation. We were built to have community. I know many of us like to work alone and we like that process, but to get the best out of yourself, you're going to have to trust someone beyond yourself to help you on your journey of accountability, to help you on your journey of productivity. This becomes very critical for our ongoing success. Let's look at this number 4. Again, we're breaking into situations that are going to develop us and help us to overcome procrastination. I'm really into practical steps and things you can actually use. So you all know my story is and my rule. What's my rule? You know it. Let me hear it. We don't celebrate small victories. We celebrate all victories. So, what I want you to do is consider this as an action step. You can do this. I want you to begin to break your tasks into actionable steps. And so, this will reinforce the power of the small wins. So I want you to think about this. You all know by now, you've been in my community any length of the time. I am a football fan. We are in the off season right now, so there's a bunch of talk and hoopla about not a whole lot going on. And I don't want to rush my summer, but boy, I'm ready for some football. One of the things I love about a football game, and it perplexes my wife to no end, is that at the end of the game, there's 2 minutes. I don't know why 2 minutes is so important. We have the 2 minute drill or the 4 minute offense where we've got the ball and we've got to go down and score. And we begin running a series of plays, and they're timed, they're quick, they're efficient, and we're moving. My wife says, if it works so well, why don't we do it the whole game? She doesn't understand how you can be behind the whole game and win at the very end. I love it. Well, the thing about the 2 minute rule is that it's not a 2 minute drill, it's a 2 minute rule. What happens is we're going to put our task into small steps, and we're going to take quick action. So give me a step-by-step strategy, and I want to break down larger goals into smaller goals. So now I don't have to sit down and do everything at one time. I'm going to focus and give myself 2 minutes, a block of time that's a much smaller block of time with a much smaller portion of the task to complete. And I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it and get it done. And what happens when I set a series of these up at the right times, at my most productive times of day, when I'm fresh, when I'm thinking, the harder tasks become easier because I'm focused and I'm not going to make myself stay there. I've been in situations where I've got to pull an all-nighter. Where are my all-nighter entrepreneurs? Wave at me. I know I'm talking to somebody. You got to pull an all-nighter because you're not prepared. Well, had you broken that into smaller tasks and you had played the game, the long game on this thing and gotten prepared, you wouldn't be stressed and you'd be finished ahead of time. That's one of the things that my assistant helps to hold me accountable on. So I want you to think about, look at the overall thing, give yourself a due date, give yourself a pre-due date 7 days before that. Okay, so the actual due date is going to be the 28th. You want to be done by the 21st. So from the 21st to the 28th, you're just simply reviewing. Well, to get done by the 21st, you've got to start on the 21st of the previous month to begin to put that project together and have small targets, smaller deadlines, and get them done to completion. Now what you're doing is you're not at the 21st having to perform on the 28th and have done nothing. And now you got to work 7 all-nighters to get it done. No, we're going to stop that. So we've got to be better at breaking tasks into actionable steps. And let's celebrate these small wins, and let's call it the 2-minute rule. Listen, I am excited. I hope you are taking notes and getting better. You owe it to yourself to be the best version of yourself. And guess what? I believe you, above all other people, deserve to experience the best version of yourself. Let's stop talking about potential. Let's stop talking about what it can be. Let's stop putting it off. Let's get this thing done, and let's grow into the mature leader that I know you are. Listen, statistics. I got to give you a little statistic here because I want you to catch this. It's important. So a report from the American Psychological Association indicates that small wins can dramatically improve motivation and engagement. People who break their tasks down and they celebrate small wins, report a 33% increase in productivity and motivation. Did you catch that? So if we break things down, we celebrate small wins, we experience a 33% increase in productivity and motivation. I'm so glad about this American Psychological Association report, because what I have always done is celebrate small victories because it builds momentum for me. Oh, I'm running out of time. I got one more I got to get to. You're listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. We are digging into this thing about overcoming procrastination, and we're really getting into productivity. I've got one more thing I want to give to you, and I'm going to get out of your way, but I am excited. The last thing is, I want you to understand that in order to overcome procrastination, you have to create a productive environment. You have to have a space and a place that works for you, and that will set the stage for success. You have to have an environment that fosters focus and productivity. Now, I will tell you, I am strange. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I can go to my local coffee shop, put my headphones on, open up my iPad, my laptop, and have my writing tablet, and I can zone out in a public place, and I can be very productive. You say, how can you be productive with all the people around? Well, I don't know the people. I'm not engaging with the people. They become white noise in the background and cause me to be laser focused. I can be in my office with my 3 computer screens in front of my face, with my iPad to the right and my phone to the right, and I can have 5 screens plus a TV where I've got some sports going on in the background, and I can use that as white noise and dial in and focus as long as I put my phone on do not disturb. So I want you to understand that what focus looks like to you, it may not look like to someone else, but you have to get yourself in an environment that's focused and productivity. Where I don't do well is I don't do well in the office where people are able to stop by my office as I'm working. That hampers my productivity. So what I want you to do is make practical changes to your space. Does it mean cleaning and organizing your office? Does it mean scheduling time? Does it mean time blocks? It can mean many of those things. But the goal is you want to minimize distractions. Whatever you do, you got to minimize distractions. So how do we do this? Well, I want you to establish a routine that promotes consistent progress and reinforces your positive habits. One last piece of research. I know I'm research heavy on this one, but I want you to own this procrastination thing. I want you to get this. Research from the University of California found that a well-organized workplace can lead to a 20 to 30% improvement in efficiency. Think about how much more you can get done in one day if you just have a well-organized space. Even when I'm in what you might call chaos, my space is very organized for how I get my job done. I want you to get that because you deserve to experience the best version of yourself. You deserve to be that leader who is operating at maximum efficiency. So how do we break the chains? How do we master the art of action-driven productivity? We understand procrastination. We deal with the cost of procrastination. We have tools in place for accountability. We break tasks into actionable steps, and we create a productive environment. Whoo, boy, that's been good today. Listen, you have been listening to Speaking with One Voice with your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. I want to thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you so much for believing in yourself and taking time each week to add value to yourself. You deserve to experience the best version of yourself. And like my mentor, John Maxwell, says, everyone deserves to be led well. So you are making a difference in those lives that you lead. As always, I'm going to ask you to follow us on all of our social media platforms at Rodney R. Payne. Turn on your notifications and please help me get this YouTube channel where we want it to be by going and clicking on that bell and subscribing and watching our new episodes each week where we add value to you and your team. And if this is helping you, do me a favor. Share it with someone else. Let us grow our community. And if we can help you and you want to partner at a deeper level, simply go to rodneyrpayne.com where you can find information on how to do that. Listen, as always, it's been my pleasure to hang out with you. I love adding value to you. Thank you for adding value to me. You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. I am your host, the coach, Rodney Payne. Until next time, let's keep growing together.
You've been listening to Speaking with One Voice. Please remember to follow Rodney Payne on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Rodney R. Payne. We'd love to hear from you and get your feedback, so please feel free to leave us comments. And if you would, rate and subscribe to the podcast, we'd appreciate that as well. Don't forget to set up for notifications so you can get the latest updates and social media posts and get new podcasts when they're released. As always, use the hashtag Speaking with One Voice or simply SWOV on any of your social media posts. On